you Scully. Yar.
Stinkosaurus.
Oh, Rick. Arty, ar, ar, ar.
All right, check. See how we're doing here. Okay, getting ready to stream. There's the audio mixer. Okay, check the delay. Should be in sync. So we'll find out here in a second. Level seem good. Well, hello. This is Matt Rose. And today we are going to be working on some synthesizer music that ultimately will be used for background music for when I'm streaming. So some of my favorite artists and creators use some laid-back synth music as background music for their streams. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this as an excuse to download some synths. Working on this light here to see if I get some light here. And do some synthesizer music in Cubase. See if I can lighten me up a little bit there. Here I'm a little bit. All right, so I use Cubase 12 Artist. I probably should pay money and upgrade, but I don't know, spent a lot of money on live streaming equipment recently. So, let me see, I'm gonna turn down this monitor real quick. Okay, so today we're going to be working on a 2 to 3 minute piece. Basically, the idea is going to do 5 or 6 of these using some artwork from a project that's been on the back burner for a while called the Onyx Tower. And I had some artwork created by a wonderful artist named Justin Davis and kind of use that as inspiration. So that was the art in the thumbnail. And I downloaded Zebra synth. I went to a workshop in France in November and everyone was talking about different synthesizers. So it's like, okay, I'll try. I don't do a lot of synthesizer music. Mostly I record live. I'm a music director at a local community orchestra and perform at the Renaissance Festival. So I don't do a lot of synth music, but I thought it'd be fun. So there's three different synthesizers, all from Zebra. And the first is this Zebralette. And then, let's see here. So Zebra or Zebra 2. And then I think the Dark Zebra, which is the synth that is one of these here, associated with Hans Zimmer. They call it Zebra HC, I think. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, I won't run it. Let's just make a new one and bring it up. Add track, instruments, and there it is, Zebra HC. Add track, unmute it, and there we go, some Hans Zimmer sounding synths. For this background music project, I'm not going to go too far into like twiddling knobs and stuff. I'm just going to use a lot of presets and kind of see where it goes from there. Again, this is not This is not something that is going to need a whole lot of pouring over. It's just going to find some cool sounds, write some it's kind of cool there, Bombers over Berlin. That'll be good for low patch, low pad. Okay. All right. Bombers over Berlin. So the idea was to basically put together, you know, maybe 10 to 15 minutes worth of synth music. The inspiration is, you know, cruising through a dungeon, maybe with an 80s or 90s synth vibe to it, like you're playing an old PlayStation. Or I grew up on Apple II Plus computers. There wasn't really a whole lot of music when you're playing Wizardry or Zork. But, you know, you're just creating a vibe. And here's some of the patches. This one's called Ghosts. So it's kind of fun. So our first inspiration was Horik's Crypt, and basically Horik was an old king, and, you know, the lead character, Caesar, he's going to encounter him. But in this case, it's just kind of our inspiration. So I was tooling around last night and kind of came up with this riff using kind of this, I guess it's a square wave kind of sound, Juno or Yamaha DX7 type of sound. I take this off of So I was talking to my girlfriend Jenny last night. She's like, well, if it's going to be background music and you're going to be talking over it, it needs to be kind of unobtrusive. So tempos are going to be slow. You know, ultimately when I mix this, you know, I'll mix it like it's an ambient piece, but then when it gets played back under the stream, it's going to be pretty low in volume. So it's not getting in the way of the narration of whatever I'm doing, whether it's modeling or shooting or making a set. So I might even slow this down a little bit. And it's 82. Let's slow it down, maybe to 76. See if it makes it even a little bit more chill. All right, so that's all C minor chord if you're into music theory. So we'll kind of say what's going on here. Not a lot of forethought went into this, but I like this patch here. This one was from a synth that came with Cubase called Copper Mine, which I thought was kind of cool. It's got a nice low buzz to it. So maybe we will push this over here and have maybe like 4 bars of just kind of the copper before we get into the melody. All right. I'm going to turn the click on. I'm not, let's see here. There's the click. Yeah. There we go. So I'll put a little drone there. Might put some wishes over that. So it might work in 4-bar phrases. Alright, so it's Copper Mine. Not doing much panning now. I might pan this a little bit to the right so not everything's in the middle. works, I think, when I use my solid state logic. It puts some extraneous MIDI notes in. So I gotta delete this here. All right, so there's that. So we got something in the low end. That one has this ghost, that has some sustain to it. So it's not gonna take too much ghost. All right, so maybe we'll put a little bit of that kind of in the middle here. And again, the goal is, 2 minutes of kind of a little bit of creepy ambient music. All right. Might have that go for a couple bars. Oh, this is interesting. Anytime I do a button push, it's sending out MIDI information. I have to look into that, see why that's happening. Because I didn't want MIDI information. All right, so there's this. Where are you? Oh, you're up here, aren't you? Somewhere in here. Because I can't use my buttons for the time being. Well, where are you? There you are. Okay, so hey, look, I pushed a button and it recorded it as an input. Okay, I have to figure that out. A lot of problem solving. Okay. All right, I got our low pad here. Copper mine. And I'm just gonna kind of put some ideas in and then I'll mix it a little bit. And it seems to me like it wants to go to a D there. All right, so. All right, that sounds kind of cool, so we'll do that. All right, let's see, when I'm using my SSL, it's gonna make MIDI notes, so I can't use that tape record. Okay, let's do undo. And we'll use this button down here. All right, so we've got a 4-bar phrase with a 2-bar phrase. And then that's the Harm Onion. This one is from Zebra HZ. There we go. And it's kind of a horns. Kind of sounds like a DX7 or Juno horns. All right, kind of like that. So let's do that. That is Callisto. And that one comes from Zebralette. I think I'll do a GC, which is 5/1, kind of right after this here. Okay. All right, and then we'll probably start that over again one more time. Option, kind of maybe right in here. Actually, 1, 2. I think I might want to throw that. All right, so I don't want to use too. I found a bunch of synth things that I like, but I don't want to have, for this first song, I don't want too many different colors in the palette, voices, so I'm going to stick to, I'll probably stick to these 4. I think I can make something interesting, 2-minute song with these 4 different sounds. All right, so let's look at the bass here. So I don't want to have too much movement, so I don't know if I want something pulsing or if we just want it kind of be whooshy. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. Let's see what we got over here. Probably want to have, what's this? Alright. I want to put a bass sound in this. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is make this same. I'm just going to call it Pegasus Bass. And presets. And where was this? Oh, this is actually, I think. Can I just duplicate this? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And remove this. And we'll call this bass. Okay, there's that. And then we'll get rid of this. That way I can kind of see the bass all at the same time. Okay. I do something like that. Okay, record, take the loop. Oh, gotta take this loop off or else we'll loop. Okay. Here we go. Alright, so that'll need a little bit of editing. And where did it go? Press record. Okay. Where is it? Alright, well that's going to get irritating. I'm going to figure out how to fix that. Okay. Well, let's try it again. Okay, there's this, and it's got record. Here we go. All right, now I need to see this stuff over here. Okay, because I can't use my SSL because it's making some noises, so I will see what we got over here. Okay, so it's starting to come together there. And let's see what we got here. Okay. And let's see what we got here. Okay, so now I use my SSL all the time. I gotta figure out why it's making sounds. Okay, so we've got, the goal is 2 minutes, and we've got a minute. Okay. There we go. All right, so we need to figure out what we're going to do with this copper mine base. It needs a little place here. Oops. I'm going to put it in there somewhere. Okay. And record. Okay, get that a little bit. See what we got here. Need some little ghosts somewhere. Maybe he can be a little transition in here. Ghost. Okay, let's try this here. All right. Okay, might be a little bit too much going on, but we can always thin it out here. Okay, so let's see what we got so far. think what I'm going to do is bring this up. So it's not the same thing over. And then two. Alright, let's do that. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Alright, so it kind of goes to like an F. Goes up to an F, so. Okay, quantize these a little bit. Alright, there we go. Fix this bass note. That needs to go up to an F. Just this here. And then lots of swirls here. Alright, so actually I got that on the wrong. I want it to be down there. Okay. There's that. Did that end up in here? Alright. Okay. Okay, so some maybe too much going on, but we can pare it down. See what's going on down here with Callisto. All right, let's see what's coming on here. We'll put a little Callisto in there. And here we go. I don't want to loop. There we go. Going on there. Okay. All right, why are you? What happened before? I recorded it and then it went away. Machines. Okay, we'll do it one more time. There it is there. I guess I should save this. All right, save as number 2. Okay, there we go. Okay. bass in here. Let's get rid of this. All right, now, let's see what we got here. Kind of missing this copper mine. I think I might want to put it in here again. I'll probably just keep on that C. Okay. To go up to F. So that's this one, needs to come up to F. There we go. And that needs to be a D. I don't want to be too dissonant. Okay. Gotta fix that. That C sharp was too dissonant. Okay. Little Charles Ives action there. Okay. Here we go. There we go. All right. All right. So I need to fix that. Why is SSL making MIDI? Okay, I don't even think the MIDI's plugged up on that. All right, problem for another day. Okay, do. See how that sounds. All right. Let's see, a minute and a half. Okay. Maybe we'll try something else. Maybe a minute of this is enough. Okay, I do want to kind of pare that down a little bit, but I want to add this here. Sound is either there or it's not there. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to move this. That says it's on the right. Okay. Move this up here. Move this down here. Let's get these guys together before we move into those colors. Okay. All right, so copper mine, little ghost. We kind of move our little melodic parts to mix that down. I want to keep that going, so let's make that longer. There we go. I think this bass is getting in the way of that other bass, so I'm going to kind of pare this down a little bit. It's around bar 11. I'm going to leave that. That's around 12 then, so I'll get rid of these guys. Okay. This all the way over here. So some sound space spectrum for it, and then I'm going to move ghosts all the way to the right. Pegasus, yeah, those are both left. I'm going to move those since they're kind of the melody. I'm going to put these a little bit more in the middle. Ish. Okay, here we go. Copper mine just kind of went away, and I think what I'm going to do is make it extend out, and then when I mix it, I'm going to bring the volume down. Okay, so all right, we'll do that. Okay, so let's see what we've got here now. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right, so let's do this. Let's see what we got here. Don't mess with that for right now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, at some point I need to mix this because I've devoted another 30 or 40 minutes to this one piece, so probably won't take very long to mix it though. I'm going to add reverb, a little compression, EQ a bit, make some spaces for the different voices, and let's see what else we can do here. There it goes. All right, let's do that. Let's add him at the end there. Boy, he's got some sustain. Okay. Okay, so let's do that. And there's this. All right, I'm going to bring this out for a little bit longer. And there's that. Okay. Okay, so here's the volume. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit. See how it works. Alright, that works. Because he's either there or not there. All right, so it's a little bit more than a minute and 20 seconds. And what else do we want to do here? Pegasus is kind of our melody. What about this Callisto sound? Maybe I'll put a little whoosh in there. Okay. All right, well, a minute and a half, that's not bad. Okay, so... all right, it's got some nice sustain to it. All right, now I'm going to add some reverb to these guys. And I'm going to add my favorite reverb, which is Alt Verb, which is a convolution reverb, which basically they model different rooms. And they're all kind of cool. These have very long reverb tails in here, so let's try this one Okay. Okay, it's all kind of whooshy, but that's the goal. Just want some vibe music, creative atmosphere when we are streaming. And this is appropriate. Let's try this mausoleum. All right. Let's see how this got. Oh, that's got a nice tail to it. Okay. There we go. And it's copper mine, so it's underground. All right, so copper mine is right. Ghosts are also, oh, there's hard right. So since they're at the beginning, I'll move him over here so they're not panned to the right too much. Okay. Get those. I hear what this Callisto sounds like here. Far left. All right, so let's give him some reverb. And I'll use the Teldex room. Okay, and then maybe crank it down a little bit there. Okay. Select all these and look at the velocities. Okay. Oh, looks like we have a double hit here. Let's get rid of him. Bring him up here. Bring some of these down, kind of compress these in essence. Okay. Okay. All right, and then what else do we got here? Okay. It's getting a little out. I'm going to bring it down here a little bit. Bring it back up a little bit. Do a save there. Ghosts coming in there. All right. Callisto comes in. Ghosts on the right and Callisto on the left. Okay, I think that gets us in the ballpark. Now let's look at Pegasus here. Put some reverb on that guy. And let's see what we want to use for him. Probably not as much as of a reverb tail, so let's pick Chapel Studio. Okay. And then maybe not as washy, so we'll bring that about 20%. Okay, and same thing with this bass. There we go. Chapel, where's Chapel? So we'll use this one, that's fine. Okay, and then bring the mix down. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna bring that around a little bit. It's a moving line, you're gonna hear it. I'm gonna kind of bury it a little bit. And again, this is gonna be music that's background behind narration, so we don't really want it to be too obtrusive. Okay, just gonna kind of cheat here and listen to a couple of these. Some little whooshies. All right, now I'm gonna put a compressor on the bus. Which one I'm gonna use? We'll do Fab Filter. I also might end up putting another compressor or another reverb on the bus, and then I'm going to play with some EQ here as well. All right, and one of my favorites is this Lexicon. I used to have a PCM 80 when I was much younger. I always liked Lexicons. Okay, we'll do medium ambience. Okay. That, and we'll just make it a little bit wet there. Okay. Back over here. Okay. All right, now. Once I kind of get it in the ballpark, then I'll start messing with EQs. Okay. Get this backwards. There we go. Okay. All right, that's the loop. Loop front and back there. I need to save this. Okay. I'll bring that down. I really want it to sit in the mix. I don't really want it to be too far above the mix. More like a rock singer than a country singer. Because again, this is just supposed to be ambient music under my narration. Seems to be a little bit late. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. I don't know why it always seems like it's late, but we'll move it a little bit earlier. Okay. That seems a little bit early. Okay. I don't want to grid. Take that off. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, now. Of course, now it seems like it's a little early. Okay. So we're about a minute and a half. Again, I'm going to do 5 or 6 of these. Try to get around 10 minutes worth of music and then loop that. And that'll be the background for when I'm narrating other live streams. Again, the idea here was some of my favorite artists, some sculptors, some CG guys, some hand-drawn art guys. They use some synthy dungeon crawl music laid back behind their narration. And instead of just using, I don't know, ocean waves, I thought I would write some music. So plus I'm getting to experiment with the Zebra synthesizers, Zebra-Let, Zebra 2, and Zebra HZ, which is the Hans Zimmer associated synth. Okay. Really make that wet. Where'd you go? Oh, maybe I need to be over here. Okay, there's that. Oh, is it hiding behind here? Oh, it's down here. Okay. There it is. That as well. Okay, now my EQ is on the side of the screen. There it is. Okay, I'm going to move this down here. I'm going to EQ it before I send it to reverb. There's that. This is the ghost synth patch. Let's see what we got here. Okay. We're getting there. Again, this will be underscore. That will be background music for narration. It's pretty chill. Checks the chill box. I'm going to move this closer to the middle, since it's so low. All right, I think that works. Okay, so this will be the region we export. Audio mix down, Horik's tomb. Let's save, find a new place to save this here. Alright. That'll work there. Okay. Export audio. All right, well, thank you very much for joining me today on our first synth creation, and hope you guys have a great day.
Hey, Scully. Yar.
Stinkosaurus.
Oh, right.